The dead, cold metal feels like ice slicing through my skin. A flush of sweeping dread washes through me, and my breath sticks in my throat. My hands come up in panic to stop my sudden free fall, but I realize I haven't moved. Red blossoms from the shaft lodged in my chest. I stare at it unbelieving. From the torn linen between my breasts, my eyes slowly follow the smooth lines of the arrow's sandy brown wood grained feathers at its end. It's the colors that finally sink me to my knees. Blue and red feathers, flecked with brown. My head spins to grasp the implication of those colors, Joshua's colors. The anguish and physical pain set in simultaneously, and it feels like I am falling again. My vision blurs as I swallow sobs, searching for him. The fading sun outlines the silhouette of the man I love. Standing on a hill in the distance, his fingers clasped around a bow. Even from here, I can feel the taut strings still humming with the absence of the spent arrow, like a dog panting for a bone. My Joshua has shot me. I wonder how many more beats my heart has left. I count them, my heart a pattering drum, as desperate as I to find the reason for its pain. God, I hate my heart. I hate that I let it lead me to him, that I followed him here and trusted him to love me when I knew I would end up hurt. My heart sputters in protest, desperate for denial, desperate like my breath, sucking in cruel air that will only fuel tears. You cannot argue with an arrow, not one sticking from your chest, or the pain. How can a tiny arrow hurt so much? I count my breaths and I curse my heart as the pain overwhelms me and takes over. Damn him. My eyes flutter open to his face, staring anxious, close to mine. A few moments pass while the dizzy haze of my pain reminds me of what he has done. Both hands reach out almost involuntarily to thrust his face away from me. I roll away from him, push myself on my knees, and I wonder desperately if I will retch from the pain. My stomach is hollow with it clenching in itself. The arrow is still lodged in my chest, not fatal yet, but my heart is still beating, sending the shock rippling through my blood. I shoot accusing eyes at him. You jerk! I hope the venom that I feel for him makes it through my choked throat. You clumsy, sightless coward! His brow furrows in offense. Why did you come here? I told you never to follow me. I never said it was safe for you to come. As if that's an excuse for shooting me? I stare mutely at him, wondering incredulously at his words. Do you not see the arrow? I spit at him. You did this! He lifts his shirt to reveal a scar, deep and ragged, marked his left ribs. And you did this. His eyes are cold and unrepentant. Don't pretend like you're innocent. His voice burns me worse than that arrow. His words are a searing hot flame that I cannot tolerate. I tear myself from the patch of dirt, wet with my tears, and run in the opposite direction. I want to rip my heart out, if that's what it takes to rid me of this arrow of him. I poke tentatively at the shaft, testing for some way to dislodge it. My heart screams in protest. The arrowhead is planted just next to it. Pulling it would be like uprooting a tree. I can't even grip it without falling back in pain. You have to rip it out, I whisper desperately. I can't do it. He's there, of course, kneeling at my side, unsure of what to do as I lean clutched over the arrow. His fingers hover over the lines of blood trickling from the side into the dirt. I'm sorry, he pleads, his hands cautiously clenching my shoulder. I didn't mean to do this to you. As if that makes any difference now. As if that would stop my insides from staining his fingers red. I lean away, trying to push as much distance between him and my injury. My heart throbs worse with him near. You shot me, I say, my voice guarded as I struggle to pronounce the obvious. He's sorry. Even I, who could hate him not more than in this moment, can see that. But he's no doctor, and his attention is straying to the horizon where another figure stands with solemn eyes. I don't know how to help him, he says, looking at my outturned palms as if they're painful to him. Please talk to me. I miss you. His very presence sucks the energy from my lungs. I should curse him, stab him with the dagger hidden in my boot, send him away. How many times do I have to run from you, Joshua? I turn my head and I push back against the tree I'm leaning against, sliding against the bark to stand, clutching my chest. I clenched my eyes shut to take away the pain. He bows his head as I leave, nodding in a misguided attempt at understanding. I'm sorry, I hear him mutter behind me. I get only far enough to not see him before I collapse. The darkness tugs at my eyes, burning in my throat, like water filling my nostrils. You know, I say, though he can't hear me anymore. The whisper drains my last breath. A river rush of pain tugs me back. Someone lifts my shoulder from the ground and offers me a drink. The cool liquid washes the sticky salt of my tears down my throat and jolts my thoughts awake. Another face fills my vision. His presence overwhelms my own, soothing the panic that's been eating at my core. I'm so glad that you come to find me, beloved, he says. His voice is calming as the breeze. I might fall into a peaceful sleep against him, I think, as I drain the last of the cold water. Will you let me help you, he asks. I consider the question. My pain has ebbed to a dull throb, and I wonder if I've healed around the arrow and if it can just stay there as a testament to my stupidity. I've lasted this long. What more could it really matter? No, I decided suddenly as I look back down at the arrow. I cannot have his colors planted in me forever. I nod slowly, still unsure of what he can do without killing me. He smiles, as if knowing why my eyes are filled with doubt, and smooths my hair back to kiss my forehead in reassurance. Hold still, he says. And then he grips the arrow with one hand and my right shoulder with the other. This isn't any time to shriek in protest, to explain that the left corner of the arrow is snagged in my heart. No time, although as my eyes fly to his in panic, I notice a deep, unfathomable sorrow that silences my dissent. I grit my teeth against the pain, so much worse for the anticipation, and with a deep rip I feel in my toes, the arrowhead sinks deeper, sharply cutting the sinews of my flesh. An inhuman whimper escapes my lips as the metal breaks through the skin of my back, and then I can feel the rod slide through me, every groove in the soft wood grating against my flesh like a string dragging out the poison. He snapped off the end of the arrow, right at the feathers. The wood finally falls from me and hits the grass with a soft thud. His bare hands cover and hold both sides of the hole in my chest until the bleeding lessens, and he wraps my midsection with white gauze. Careful now, he says, smiling as he secures the end and leans back to admire his work. You're gonna get better. He lifts me to my feet and offers his hand, still wet with my blood. I stare mutely at it. I can't go anywhere, I protest. I'm barely alive. His eyes soften, but He doesn't drop his hand. "Have I led you anywhere that you shouldn't go?" he says simply. I glance back at the gauze, covering my near fatal injury. But I stop short, my eyes instead lifting slowly back to his. He smiles more broadly as I reach the slow conclusion. I went following Joshua without him. The cool stream at the bottom of the hill washes the blood of my injury from both of us. He's cooked a meal, spread out on a blanket in the grass. The sun sets as we eat, silhouetting a horizon filled with mountains and soaring vistas, deep valleys, and naked, windswept plains. "Can we go there?" I ask, my stomach filled with energy, confident of what his answer will be. But he smiles and pulls me closer, as if jealously guarding his moment alone with me. "Tomorrow," he whispers in my ear. "Tonight, take time to heal." The injury throbs in my chest as a distant reminder. I lean back into his arms, which cover me with warmth under the emerging silver stars, and I fall asleep.